And thank you for the flexibility in our 5 minutes in advance. So I want to begin by
In a
discussing.
really good mood today, I don't know.
Want to begin by coming back to an item that, General, you spoke to in your opening comments, that of the proposed new 35% design standard required for feasibility study approval. Now, I understand the rationale behind the effort, but I do worry, and I think you share the concern, that larger projects will get stuck in a catch-22 where they can't move forward without significant more resources up front, while the Army Corps budget doesn't actually provide those necessary resources. So I worry that this could lead to a situation where the Army Corps simply stops doing any more big projects, and there's a number truly needed across the country, projects that are critical to protecting life and property of our constituents. We just celebrated the 20th anniversary, for lack of a better term, of Hurricane Katrina and the devastation to the people in Louisiana. I imagine a new standard like this would have delayed the project to restore the communities out there for years and years and years. I mean, that was a $14 billion levee repair. So, General Graham, for feasibility studies that lead to larger water resource projects costing more than $500 million, will the current annual budget for the investigations account support the level of design spending without causing multi-year delays? Or what's your idea or proposal on how to address that dynamic?
Senator Padilla, thank you for that question. And whenever your senator gig kind of finishes up, we're hiring. We're always looking for some MIT mechanical engineers to join the team. So, sir, you know that the path to delivering quality projects on schedule within budget is to think through them carefully during this design phase, line up the funding, and then build them rapidly with a team of expert builders. And that's just what we have not been doing. We do need to figure out, with the investigations budget and the workload we have on very complex studies, how that would break out so that we can deliver those studies efficiently. For these large things, the Corps had been criticized in the past, many decades ago, for we weren't looking system-wide. We were looking at small projects scattered around. And so wisely, we were given direction from Congress and support from the administration to start looking at larger systems, and we've done that. Coastal Texas is a great example. Same thing with projects up in New York City. With that, we have to figure out a way to both break those down into manageable, implementable pieces that we can advance the engineering far enough that we know what it is we're proposing you to build, and those also have to be budgetable. Now, $52 billion on $1.5 billion construction budget, that's probably going to be infeasible. So we've got to square both those circles.
Right. I understand. We have a little bit of a coastline, too, in California, by the way, not just Louisiana and New York. But you referenced in your opening remarks some nuances that are important to recognize. Would you consider any exceptions to the 35% design standard requirement for large projects? And look, there's future projects and there's projects that are sort of underway right now. Is there any grandfathering considered before this new standard is imposed?
Secretary Tell's guidance to us is make sure you're applying common sense as we're going through that analysis. And Senator, that's our commitment to you, is that we're going to apply common sense as we go through this. The goal being to deliver these projects as efficiently and effectively to protect your citizens and to make sure that our navigation industry, particularly like the Port of Long Beach, that amazing economic engine continues to run well.
Right, because there's ripple effects. All right, thank you for that. Definitely be doing some follow-up with you. Secretary Tell wanted to, before I ask you about the harbor maintenance tax conversation we had previously, just want to express my condolences on the loss of your father recently, and I appreciate your willingness to be here and continue the work during a difficult time. So please convey that with your family as well. Now, as you and I spoke during your confirmation process, the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach are the busiest container. It's the busiest container port complex in the Western Hemisphere, and I appreciated the commitment you made at the time to this, not just to me, but to the committee, to uphold the donor and energy port funding as directed by WRDAs of 2020 and 2022. However, since your confirmation hearing and before you were sworn in, the administration released its fiscal year 25 work plan for the U.S. Army Corps, as well as the budget proposal for fiscal year 26. Neither document reflects the increased funding targets for donor and energy ports that Congress directed. So to put it mildly, that's troubling. Can you assure me and this committee that the WRDA 2020 set-aside of 12% of harbor maintenance trust fund obligations for donor and energy ports will be honored?
Senator Padilla, thank you for the question, and we will follow the law. The FY25 work plan and the fiscal year 2026 President's budget include $58 million in keeping with that set-aside and in keeping with the appropriations acts that have been enacted by Congress that govern those fiscal years.
So for my constituents watching from home, is that a yes or a no?
I'm just telling you that the FY25 work plan and the FY26 President's budget both include $58 million, which is consistent with the appropriations acts enacted by Congress.
But by my simple math, that doesn't add up to the 12% that we had previously discussed.
Senator, your math is correct.
And that Congress had directed.
Your math is correct, Senator. That is the level set by the appropriations acts for those fiscal years.
So it's not living up to the requirement. I understand the position that you're in, but we obviously have some work.
Senator, we follow the laws that are proposed by this committee and the Appropriations Committee.
All right. And the Chairwoman's been more than generous with me. I'll do some follow-up questions for the record on the Pajaro Flood Protection Project and other important issues for my state. So thank you both very much.